Backcountry elk hunting, backcountry hunting in general. Going deep, overcommitting yourself to a deep, dark basin, only to find 3 other elk camps there, sucks. Costs you your commodities. What are your commodities? Time and energy when elk hunting. We're gonna break down this new solo ultralight tent that I bought full retail, and I wanna break it down and see if this is gonna be the trick for when I do decide to do a little backcountry elk hunting in 2022. Come along. This is ELKSHAPE Gear. Somebody on Instagram, and I won't be able to figure out who it was, asked me if I wanted to check out this tent. They were gonna send me their tent. They said it was awesome. I said, no man, I'm in the market. I'm gonna take your advice. I'm gonna just pull the trigger. I bought it. $299 shipped to my house. To me, I don't like packing in shelters into the backcountry because it does kind of overcommit you. What if the elk aren't there? What if there's other hunters there? What if the elk moved out? And so I do like the idea of keeping a shelter in the bottom of my pack as long as it's light. I can deal with 17 ounces. I can deal with that. And I think that for a solo elk hunter, this is gonna be a great solution. So number one, I don't have to worry about a fly or some sort of rain. This thing comes with, it's built to be rainproof. So that's huge for me. Vestibule is huge, we'll show you that, but let's go inside real quick. In here is just enough room for me. I'm 5'7". Somebody 6 foot would be still have plenty of room back here, but I could definitely keep my pad, my bag, probably sleep in like a puffy because I run really cold. You can run, they come with stuff to put your headlamp up above here, but it's got plenty of headroom in the morning that you can sit up and don't feel like you're getting compressed. Plenty of room. I sleep on my back. If you're a side sleeper, I think you'd be fine as well. This is badass. Now I'm gonna go ahead and we'll set up the vestibule so you guys can kind of see how much room, but you'd wanna keep your boots and your pack in here so that if it is raining, it's gonna get frosty in the morning, your stuff. I would probably keep any camera gear inside here, possibly even in my bag. If you struggle to be warm at night, one thing that I do is I'll heat up water, like hot water, almost boiling, put it in my Nalgene, put it in the bottom of my bag, and that kind of helps me keep warm. I'm using a 0 degree bag most times at base camp, but in the backcountry, I have a 10 degree bag from Western Mountaineering. I think it's called the Versalite. It weighs 1 pound, 8 ounces, and it's awesome. I don't work with them. I don't work with any of these companies. I kind of like to keep certain relationships just open so that we can review stuff and give your honest opinion. This is the Creststone trekking pole from Black Ovis. They're super cheap. Use discount code ELKSHAPE 10% off. We set them up for 125 centimeters on both sides, and you can see it went up in a second. I don't like setting up camps in the daylight. I like to be, if it's daylight, I should be hunting. And then if I'm setting up a camp, it's usually in the dark. So this will set up, I could spike out of this, or I could bivvy style hunt, which is wherever you are and it gets dark, that's where you're camping for the night. And I like that as an option. Let's check out the vestibule. Is where I would keep my gear. If you know the weather's gonna be good, you can pin them up against the tent. And if you are not sure about the weather, which I would advise you not to be too confident in the weather in the mountains out west, it could change. Jake and I were snowed on in 2020, August 30th. And then we got snowed on again on September 7th. Last year, August 30th, I woke up to 20 degrees with all my water frozen, frost on my bow riser. You just never know what the weather's gonna be. On this side, there's only one little pinch, and then you can just zip. Got a little clip. If you wanna secure that down. And it is by design to be slightly off the ground. You can crawl underneath, but this is just enough room to have your pack and your boots or whatever else. The vestibule is super small. I would say that's probably the major downside, but I like the height inside, so I could probably boil my water, make my oatmeal protein and coffee, grab them, sit upright, eat and drink that, listening for bugles while in the backcountry. Can you tell I get excited? Because this is fun to test and tinker gear. And the last thing I want to say about gear, supply chains, inflation, World War III, whatever you want to, like weird stuff's happening, you know, pandemics. So get your gear early. then go test it. Get your gear, because you don't know, you don't want to wait till July and August when everyone waits, and then you may not get your stuff in time. And even if you do get it, you don't really know how to use it. And the backcountry is not the time or place to figure out your gear. Separation is in the preparation. On the other side of the tent, you don't have access to the tent from this side, but it does give you a little bit of a lean-to where you could put your bow. This is probably where I would put my bow, right up against there. And you know, whatever else that you need to keep dry. I don't carry a ton of stuff, but you're gonna wanna keep your boots and your pack on that side because that's where your food's at. I use this spike camp bag from Kufaru, and so I would probably keep my pack over here, my bow, and then on that side would be my spike camp bag where I have my stove and my food and stuff like that. I use a jet boiled, MSR, activator, whatever you use is great. I run gas, just the screw on. I'm not a huge white gas, like liquid gas kind of guy. Those are more reliable depending on temperatures, but I've had no problems with the jet boil. I think Jake uses an MSR reactor. They're all really good and fairly cheap. But this is a nice lean-to. Let me show you the stakes. So it's gonna come in this bag. Your whole kit is in this bag, which is tiny. And then in here is your goodies. All right, so these are for definitely like inside the tent if you wanna put stuff above you while you're sleeping, like your headlamp. And I do wanna say, guys, I think headlamps get overlooked almost out of anything. Find yourself a really good headlamp, and 2 is 1. You can ask Jake, I carry 3 headlamps with me because I hate butchering elk without a headlamp. I've killed an elk before where both my headlamps died. It's not fun. So I usually bring 3 headlamps. 3 is 1 in my opinion. We got one from Peaks that we're gonna test out this year. Any headlamp that has some sort of internal mechanism where you can turn it off and it won't turn on itself if you bump it in your pack. I can't tell you how many headlamps I've burned all the batteries because they got turned on somehow in my backpack, only to find out the batteries are dead when I actually need it. So just a side note on headlamps, but you would use all 6 of these. You could get more for sure. I don't think I would need to pack more. And then obviously you wanna put these in at a 45-degree angle towards the tent, and don't bend them, don't pound them into rocks, but you can use a small rock to pound it in. Super lightweight, pretty slick setup. Guys, so the features on this thing is awesome. You have an easy side entry, so both doors open, so you get obviously like more wind or air going through. Ventilation, it's key, especially for drying your gear out and breeding. It comes with factory tape seams and a bathtub floor, so there's lots of room. Plenty of headroom for your shoulders. It fits tall people, although I'm not very tall. It's got a huge vestibule, so if you wanna make your coffee, oatmeal, maybe bring like a little camp chair that's packable, you can put your boots on in comfort. A vestibule is huge for me. And you get protection from the rain and bugs, and that was my biggest concern, was being able to stay out of the weather. Excellent ventilation to minimize condensation. It's got a highly adjustable pitch, so interior clothesline, so you can keep your flashlight or whatever gear above you. All you need is just your trekking poles, and that's it. And then you got your gear. It weighs 20 stinking ounces. 20 ounces, that's it. It has reflective tie outs for additional lines for like high wind stuff, creates more interior space. And then you have the ability to fill the vestibule for when there's no rain expected. So you have the ability to move the vestibule back up against the tent. So obviously that's in a situation where you wouldn't expect any rain. Reflective guidelines knotted so that it can be handled with gloves. And you know, if it's cold out, you don't want to take gloves off. Zipper pulls have reflective lines added for easier handling, a large mesh internal pocket for personal items, sidewall tie out for storm proofing and interior space. It comes with 6 stakes, but I mean, you might want a couple more. At least that's what the manufacturer suggests. And all you need is just 2 trekking poles that can go up to 125 centimeters. As far as specs go, capacity, 1 person, which is perfect. The dimensions are 84 inches long by 33 inches wide, 45 inches tall. The length of the ridgeline is 43 inches. The bathtub floor from the edge of the tip to the vestibule is 35 inches. Pack size is 5 by 10, and it compresses down pretty good. And the shelter weight, including guidelines, is 17.7 ounces. If you want to know what the materials are, we got you. The tent body and floor is a custom 10D nylon ripstop sill PU fabric, waterproof to at least 1800 millimeters. Guidelines are 1.8 millimeter reflective nylon sheath with 1 millimeter Dyneema core. Number 3 TPU waterproof zipper. The tensioners are ITW, Line Lock 3, all main tie-outs. All right, guys, so review-wise, obviously we're not in the field, but what a great idea. Set up the tent, get familiar with it, kind of get the specs on it. I'm excited because this is gonna serve two purposes for me. Number one, backcountry elk hunting. I can do some sort of spike camp. That's where you drop it off, go do your hunting, come back to a said area. That's gonna save you 3-5 miles from hiking day in and day out. That's nice. The other is bivvy hunting, where you're actually just chasing elk, and then when you run out of daylight, that's where you camp and you pick up where you left off the next morning. That's also really exciting and kind of a backcountry style. And the last thing is that storms come in all the time, and I hate getting huddled under a tree with a fire, so you could easily set your shelter up real quick and wait out any storms, and bring like a little solar blanket that weighs nothing. You can stay warm, wait the storm out, and then the storm breaks, and then the hunting gets really good. Guys, we love elk hunting. We love archery, and we love tinkering. We love gear. Give this thing a shot if you're in the market. 300 bucks, very affordable, extremely light, and I'm excited to use it this year. If you run 2 trekkers, that's all you need. Put it at the bottom of your pack. Make sure you get it early. We'll leave a link. We have no affiliation. We have no commission, no incentive to promote this other than that we think it's a cool, unique find for the 2022 elk season. We appreciate your support. Tap the sub if you're into badass reviews and getting into elk hunting and working hard every day. Separations in the preparation. We'll catch you on the next one.